Very, very good. I just wanted to say that we've had a long discussion in Cabinet for a couple of hours now, a very good discussion, in which we agreed that the situation is extremely difficult and the arguments either way are very, very finely balanced, because we've got cases of Omicron surging across the country now. We've got hospitalisations rising quite steeply in London, and the obvious conclusion is that, of course, it was right to go fast for Plan B in the way that we did, and also right to double the speed of the booster rollout to make sure that everybody got their boosters as fast as possible. And in view of the balance of risks and uncertainties, particularly around the infection hospitalisation rate of Omicron, how many people does Omicron put into hospital of the infected, and some other uncertainties to do with severity and booster effectiveness and so on. We agreed that we should keep the data from now on under constant review, keep following it hour by hour, and unfortunately, I must say to people, we will have to reserve the possibility of taking further action to protect the public and to protect public health, to protect our NHS. And we won't hesitate to take that action. But in the meantime, what I would say to everybody is please exercise caution as you go about your lives. Please think of the guidance and think of protecting yourself and your loved ones. And please get a booster. Please get a vaccination. It could not be more urgent. There are still millions of people in this country who haven't got a vaccination, let alone a booster. And it makes such a difference. The evidence is overwhelming. It's such a positive thing to do. And I say to all those people who are unvaccinated, whether out of apathy or for whatever reason, please, please, please think of this as a great thing to do for yourself and for your family, for your community. Get boosted now.
Can I ask you what that caution actually looks like? What should people not be doing? And you're keeping this under review. Can you guarantee there won't be restrictions before Christmas? And after Christmas, lots of talk about banning indoor mixing, new limits on pubs and restaurants. Can you level with us and at least tell us what you're looking at?
Yes, I can certainly say that we're looking at all kinds of things, Anushka, to keep Omicron under control, and we will rule nothing out. But at the moment, what I think we want people to focus on is exercising caution, so ventilation, masks in the appropriate places, all the usual stuff about washing hands. But remember how contagious Omicron really is. And I think what you're seeing already is the British public understanding that. And you can see in people's patterns of behaviour since we went to Plan B that they are changing the way they go about their lives. They are changing some of the assumptions they make about the things that they want to do. And I'm afraid to say, and I know that has had consequences for some parts of our economy and some parts of the hospitality section. Of course, in many ways, I regret that. But if it can help to get down the get down the way the disease is multiplying, that can be very helpful to us and to the country. But what really matters is for everybody to get vaccinated and get boosted above all, because the booster really does give you a very high level of protection.
I mean, you talk about consequences, devastating consequences for many pubs, for many restaurants, for theatres that are on their knees. Can you give financial support to those sectors now?
I mean, of course, I understand how tough it must be, and nobody wanted things to go this way. Omicron has simply exploded so fast that we've seen people naturally deciding to make sure that they protect themselves and they avoid spreading the disease. And as I said, the benefits of that course of action we may see in the next few days and weeks in the way we're able to contain the disease. But it is important that we act cautiously, and of course it's also important that we look after the hospitality sector, the theatres, and other parts of our incredible entertainment industry, which will suffer and are suffering. So there are packages of funding already in place. There's the business rate relief, the VAT relief,
but no more.
But also funds available from local councils, which have surpluses in their funds to give support. And we will, again, like all these things, we will keep the economic side of this under constant review as well.
I mean, Prime Minister, there is a trust issue here. You're asking people to be cautious. They see the picture of you sitting in the Downing Street garden, drinking wine, eating cheese, at a time when, you know, those were not within the rules. They don't buy that it's a work meeting. There are people on Twitter who say they had funerals of loved ones in the same week and they couldn't have that many people at their funerals. Do you understand why people are angry and why they might be less likely to do what you say?
Those were people at work talking about work.
So you were having a work meeting there without laptops, without any notes or paper. Do you normally have wine and cheese at a work meeting?
Those were people at work. Those were meetings of people at work talking about, this is where I live and it's where I work. Those were meetings of people at work talking about work. And I really think it's vital that we focus, if we can, on the messages we're trying to get across today. We face a serious spike in Omicron. You're seeing the cases go up in London, particularly the cases of hospitalisations. And the answer is to be cautious, but also to get vaccinated. Saturday was an amazing day for vaccinations. I think a million across the UK. Sunday was also almost a million. We're seeing record numbers come forward. I think over half the adult population has now been vaccinated. But now is the time for those missing millions to help themselves, but also to help the whole country through a difficult time.
Just a quick final one, Prime Minister. The SAGE minutes are very clear that early intervention matters and that the earlier you intervene, the shorter the restrictions can stay in place. That means now. Why aren't you taking their advice?
We went, as you remember, Anushka, as soon as we saw what was happening with Omicron, and you will remember it was very controversial, and there were many colleagues in Parliament who said, no, this goes too far. But we went ahead with Plan B virtually straight away. And I think that was the right thing to do. And we also doubled the speed of the vaccine rollout. We went into overdrive with the vaccine rollout, with the booster rollout in particular. There are still some things that we need to be clearer about before we decide to go further, Anushka. But I've got to say to the British public, and I say to everybody, we will not exclude going further if we have to do things to protect the public. The public are already taking steps to protect each other and protect themselves. And it's, it's wonderful to see. And it's wonderful to see how many people are coming forward to be vaccinated. I say thank you to them. Thank you to the incredible army of vaccinators and all the volunteers. It's wonderful. The campaign is, as you know, we vaccinated more people as a percentage of our population than virtually anywhere else. And that is great. But we need to do more. And to get the levels of protection we're going to need against Omicron, there are millions of people who still need to get boosted, millions of adults. There is a slot for you, for every adult, before the end of the year. We're going to give you a slot. Get that jab.
And just to be clear, you're relaxed with people drinking during work. That's part of the rules. You're quite relaxed with that happening when people are in offices.
Look, I've said what I've said about that.
Thank you.